reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every...
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 259. I'm Chris, and I'm joined once again by the ever so wonderful, ever so magnanimously marvelous Mr. at MMO Bill. Hi, Bill.
Good day.
It's wonderful to record with you again here, a little earlier again this week. If anybody's interested in seeing our changing recording times, we've got a calendar that goes out through our Slack chat, so all our patrons get to see all our changing recording times. We are without Harry Hall, which means we can record earlier this week, but that doesn't mean that he's not in our hearts, right, Bill?
Yeah, he's actually literally in my heart. We've shrunk him down to the size of your average microbe, and he's actually on vacation in my heart.
You know what? That is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love the Inner Space movie. It is a fantastic movie. What do you think about that movie? Did you love it?
I loved it, and I'm hearing that Harry enjoyed it as well.
Yes, that's good. Mm-hmm. There's a little Inner Space theme for you. Woo. So yes, he is currently in your, I believe your aorta is where he is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just enjoying the beach there.
Yeah, it's a nice beach, aortic beach. Yeah,
the aortic beach.
Yeah, that's right.
Cluster of healthy cholesterol. So
yeah. So
anyway, this is getting just a little too deep, if I do say so myself.
It's not too deep. It's too internal. Mm. Yeah. Okay. Let's get going on what we played, because we got some news this week.
I played Overwatch, believe it or not. Me and everybody else on the planet.
Yeah, it was number one Twitch game for a while there.
I'm not surprised. It seemed to be just everywhere, and I enjoyed it. I am not good at Overwatch. I'd just like to throw that out there right now, and I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay being at the bottom tier.
You know,
I'd like to say that I didn't kill myself at all on day one, and that would be a lie. I would like to say that I didn't fall off a cliff because I was running backwards for my life away from a roadhog, and that would be a lie.
So, you know what? Before we get into our first impressions of it, we actually got a phone call about this onto our MMO Reporter line. I haven't heard this one yet. It just came in, so I thought I'd play it for us right now. Okay, I know it's not part of the show, but apparently it deals with Overwatch. Are you ready?
No, but it's going to happen anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, here it is.
So hi guys. This is Brad, a long-time listener, first-time caller. I work on the Overwatch quality assurance team, and I watched your stream the other day, and I was wondering if you could maybe stop streaming Overwatch, because we're worried that you're giving the game a bad name. So if you could totally stop streaming that'd be great. And maybe if you could totally stop playing the game, that might be good too. Thanks, guys. Love the show.
Well, Bill, we haven't had a voicemail in a while, and I don't know if I like them anymore. Apparently, Blizzard does not like our Overwatch skills. They do not appreciate them.
we do ask people to send us voicemails like every week, don't we?
That's true.
And I suppose we're making our own bed for that. Although, to be fair, those are completely warranted comments.
Absolutely.
If people were playing my game the way we played their game when it came out on Monday, I would be upset and really wanting.
Yeah. So sorry, Brad,
end.
from Quality Assurance at Blizzard. But we will not be stopped. I will still be streaming Overwatch if I get the chance. Because as much as we died and lost and died and died and lost and died, I still had fun with it. I really enjoyed it. I didn't get a bunch of... It was launch night, so it was fun. But I didn't get overly frustrated with it. What were your first impressions of the game itself? Not necessarily our performance in the game, but first impressions, Bill.
The game itself, I was pretty pleased with. Like I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm totally honest tonight. I got super frustrated by the end of it. I have a feeling it must be matchmaking stuff happening at the beginning because very clearly we were playing. We both recognized several players that were just tearing us to pieces over and over and over again. So
destroying us.
The frustration I think is probably something that will play out as the matchmaking inserts me at the bottom where I belong. So that I'm okay with. And actually, truth be told, once I was not playing with you, I was actually doing much better. So,
you know what? Same thing. I had the exact same experience once I started playing by myself. But you know what I did most of the time actually. Is I actually played in the brawl mode, the whatever it's called, and this first week here, the brawl mode is arcade. So it actually is, all the cooldowns are much slower, and I played as Tracer. So you can imagine your cooldowns being not slower, faster. Imagine getting your teleports that much quicker. And imagine what that would do to your gameplay as Tracer. Tracer, for those of you who don't know, teleports around the map and
can if she's really close to dying, you can travel back in time so that you're back where you were about 5 seconds ago and at the health you were at 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun. I really quite enjoyed the arcade mode of that. I would do that often. Apparently they're going to have different modes in there, like female heroes only for one mode, or support classes only for one week or something, stuff like that to really make it different.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be interesting. Sorry, keep going.
Anyway, other than the frustration of being terrible, I actually really enjoyed it. I'm actually finding that I'm starting to dig into the lore of it a little bit too. They've released several cinematics, which all Blizzard cinematics are good. This is just the law, which should lead us to an interesting bit with our star. I think one of our quick mentions at the end of the story about the Warcraft movie. But anyway. It's compelling lore. I like that it's not dark and brooding and nasty. It's got an actual upbeat tempo to it, which seems to be less common today than or it just seems to be less common. It doesn't seem to happen very often. So, overall positive. I would if you're at all a shooter person, and I'm not even a shooter person, but if you've got just a tiny bit of shooter in you, then Overwatch. Good.
Yeah, and I like the business model that they launched with the buy to play, all the heroes. You don't have to unlock heroes. You don't have to unlock maps. You don't have to unlock... The only things that come, you can buy loot boxes, and there's a random chance to get skins, voices, and spray decals in there, which is it. Really the only thing that you can buy, which I think is fantastic. The one question that I have, and the one curiosity, I guess, that I have is looking at the long term for myself. The one thing that keeps me going back to Heroes of the Storm is I think that the player progression system is actually quite fantastic in the way that you level. And I find the Overwatch, the first few days here is quite, and the beta as well, is quite lackluster. Like there's just not much for leveling. You just don't get anything, right? So I don't really see the point in leveling either. Like, I don't think it's, other than getting the odd loot box and everything like that, that's fine. But it's not it's a kind of a whoopee type moment when you level. Like, you're not getting more powerful. You're not getting anything more other than, like, skins and that kind of thing, which I've never really been super sold on. Yeah. But Well, some of the skins I love. Some of the Reinhardt skins I need to go for. I just need to.
Yeah.
But I know that you're going to need to get to, I think, level 25 before you can unlock competitive play once they put that back in. It's out right now. But that's really the only thing I've really seen. But again, that this is first impressions. This is a few days worth of experience. Maybe I will come back next week or the week after with a full review and say, no, this is absolutely the best leveling system or player progression. I don't even want to call it leveling. It's not really leveling, but it's the best player progression system that I've ever seen. I might say that. Who knows? All right, Bill, what else has kept you busy?
I've actually been playing Sword Coast Legends.
Oh, did you jump in?
Through...
Are you finishing the campaign or going into the new stuff?
No, I'm doing the old campaign. I got through Act 1. I actually jumped in with Isani as well, too, and we did a couple quick dungeons, and that was amazingly fun, actually. Just doing a quick randomly generated dungeon, and had a blast. It was fast. It was easy to put together. It's that piece of it actually is quite fun.
Yeah.
So had a good time there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and played a little bit of Guild Wars 2 because that's what I do. And I've been reading Leviathan Wakes by James Corey lately. And that's really, I wanted to play Elite Dangerous probably 50 times in the last week, but it always seemed to happen at times where I was at work or I was it was all times that would have been very inappropriate to play Elite Dangerous. But anyway, Leviathan Wake's still early into it, but pretty good book. I'm enjoying that so far.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. How about you? What are you up to?
I have a confession to make.
Chris, I think I know where this is going.
You know,
and I'm just going to say that, you know what? I'm not even angry.
Just disappointed.
just a little disappointed.
Yeah, and it's funny. Every time one of us falls back into this habit, this addiction, we always approach the show the same way, with this big dark secret that we have to share with the world. And here's my turn once again. And I know I was the first one last time too that succumbed again. I've been playing WoW. I resubbed to WoW, and I jumped back in there. I am currently I want to go into Legion with the best possible setup that I can for my casually hardcore character. So I want to get in there and get... Because I did some looking for raid and looking for group, and I actually did, I think, almost all but the last raid that was released through the looking for raid. And I did all the dungeons, and I want to make sure that I never did the shipyard, so I'm getting my shipyard all set up and doing that, and making sure that my stronghold is all at the top, tier 3 for everything and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not necessarily doing tons of questing or content or stuff like that, though I do still have to go through the jungle because I just got my shipyard and I'm going through that. But I'm just really doing a lot of maintenance, and it's taken some time. Like, I've been on every day since I subbed, and I can spend just on my stronghold, shipyards, and sort of that sort of stuff, like 25, 30 minutes just doing all that. So it's quite interesting. The one thing that I wanted to share with everyone here, and I'm going to throw it into the chat room for our wonderful people that are there, and you'll be able to find it in the show notes, as well as on our Facebook page, and I shared it on Twitter. I have set up a straw poll because with my pre-purchase of Legion, I did get a level 100 character boost. So nice. I am curious as to what our wonderful listeners would like me to play. So I've got the straw poll up there just now, and surprisingly enough, Bill, and I know we talked about this before, Mage is currently at the top, is the number 1, and Monk is 2. So Mage is number 1 with 33% of the votes, and Monk is number 2 with 15, with a whole bunch of classes shortly there under Druid and Shaman are really close. So Yeah.
I'm surprised. Like, I don't know. For me, mage always seemed like the most blasé class, almost in the entire game. The only one that's close is the monk. Actually, both of those seem really dull classes for me.
Oh, really? Monk?
So-
You don't like? I love my monk.
I didn't. I don't know. It was plain.
I think I got him
My
up to
monk-
40.
My monk made me wish I was playing my rogue.
Huh. And we just got another vote for mage as we're speaking here. Thanks. Thanks a lot. You know what? It's funny because way back when we were playing WoW as our group with our wives, and I believe for a little while my mother-in-law and our friend from Vancouver played with us for a little bit. I would play Selenia's mage a little bit, her little gnome pink-haired mage, just to get her leveled up a little. She hated the grindiness of some parts of it, so I'd take that and I'd play her character for her with that. And I think Frost was the big build back then. Arcane. She loved Arcane, so she went Arcane all the time. And so I've played mage, but never my own mage. So I find that really interesting that's the results that we're getting right now. Would love to see what other people add to that conversation once this podcast goes out there. Go check out the show notes, our Twitter, our Facebook, or anything like that to get the straw poll. I've got it all out there. All right. I've also been playing a fair chunk of the Pathfinder Adventures card game on my iPad. Started to run into a few of the bugs you had discussed as I've been playing it more. None of them are game breaking. Like the game hasn't crashed, but there are some annoying ones. Like it doesn't always pick up the touch perfectly for dice rolls and stuff like that. A couple times I have to, gesture a couple times before it picks up like it should. So that's a little frustrating. And the other thing is I've given myself the challenge to try to unlock all the characters without having to spend any real world money. And holy crap, the gold gain is low. Maybe again it's just because I'm starting out. I'm low level. I don't have tons of stuff in my deck. And I only have 2 characters right now. I bet you the gold it will increase as I get 3 characters, and more characters means I can play more, right? Like more plays per round. So hopefully that will help things. But yeah, it's that's a not insurmountable, but wow. I've played fairly steadily for a couple of weeks now, the last couple of weeks, and I've got I think 400 gold, and the first character unlock is at 1,000. So yeah, and it's $40 for the Rise of the Rune Lords pack, which gets you it gets you a lot, but I don't want to spend $40 on an iPad app, on an iPad game.
No,
like that's steep.
That is, yeah. And I've got it installed on my phone actually, but I just
it works on your phone. It wouldn't work on my phone. I had to put it on my iPad. Like it said,
I was just gonna say it's installed. I've never actually played it because I keep intending to, but it takes about 2 minutes for it to load on my phone. So, and by the time that happens, I'm usually either bored because I've got the attention span of shiny, or typically if I'm playing a game on my phone, I only intend to play for like 2 minutes. So
right, I'm surprised that it let you install. It wouldn't even let me install on my phone. Maybe it's just a check that Android doesn't do that iOS does about the type of device that it's installing on. But I don't think it's gonna be a pleasant experience on phone. It has too busy of a screen, and there's just a lot on there that when you take that down to phone size, I think you're gonna have a very unhappy experience, unfortunately. Last thing that I played was Lotro. Played some Lotro, got back into that just a little bit today, actually. And played a little bit, get some new levels with Update 18 to go through Battle of Pelennor Fields. So, yeah. In a world where battles take place on fields, Lotro Update 18. The Battle of Pelennor Fields. Yeah. So that's what I'm working towards. I haven't gotten there yet.
I simultaneously miss Lotro and just cringe at the effort of actually getting to that level.
Oh, but
in
Bill,
Lotro.
then you could get to see the off-white city.
The off-white city, the beige city.
They didn't quite get the colors right, as our last Lotro Reporter listeners mentioned through emails that they sent in to us. It's more the dull gray city, or the off-white city. Yeah, it's a little sad. Hey, I want to say thank you so much to all of our patrons. I just sent out a message to all of our patrons, just sort of outlining what's been going on the last little while. MMO Reporter's been the most consistent of the shows, but there's been some stuff going on with the network with everything from the happiest of happies to the saddest of sad, and the most frustrating of most frustrating things has happened. So I sent out a little bit of a letter to our patrons explaining all that, saying why our content has been a little bit slower than usual, or the amount of videos. Some of the Lotro Reporter podcast has been off the air for about a month as we've been dealing with all this sort of stuff. And I have to say, I love our patrons because I got about 7 or 8 messages back, unequivocally supportive and wonderful. And you gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with life, and we understand completely, like, without fail. It was wonderful, and I feel such a responsibility to our patrons because they spend money on us every month, and I feel a responsibility to make sure that their money is money well spent. And I feel that all the time. So it was so heartwarming to me to see this wonderful community that we've got supporting us, as we've had a few personal struggles for a few different people on the podcast. So I just want to say how much I absolutely love all of our patrons and how much I appreciated all those messages of support. So thank you so much to all of our patrons. You are fantastic. Now, if you'd like to become one of our patrons, there are some patron rewards and stuff like that, as well as access to our Slack chat, which is always fun chatting with our patrons on there. You can go check out patreon.com/MMO Reporter, and you can decide what support level works for you. Anything helps to keep the metaphorical lights on, and we sure appreciate all the support of the patrons that have been with us since the very beginning of our Patreon campaign. So thank you very much to our patrons, and if you want to join, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Man, I could groove out to that music forever.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Even though the music did have to come to an end so we could move on to our first story. Funcom is grooving these days because they actually fell into a pile of money.
Just fell into it.
Just fell into it. We've talked a little bit recently about kind of the financial struggles that Funcom's been in for a while, and how they were at risk of splitting up and offloading properties and IP and that kind of thing. Well, they got a little bit of an investment that came back, just over $6 million, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's probably enough to help keep the lights on and everything. Oh, well, thank you. It's not like I gave it to him, but besides, that's a lot of money. That's like 2 of my MMO Reporter checks all. So,
You hit your head again, didn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, so a little bit of money, a little bit of stability happening for Secret World and the park and everything like that. So good news to be had. So we were reading a little bit into the context of all this, and it's looking more and more that Funcom actually might be a victim of its own kind of financial management, rather than an inability to put out games and that kind of thing. Their games have always been kind of niche and have not been like blockbuster successes or blowing the doors off or anything, but they've been decent. Like Anarchy Online is apparently still making them an okay amount of money.
15 years.
Yeah. So think about that. Being able to squeeze 15 years out of it, period, is decent. It's decent. Secret World has been consistently said to be making its own money back and everything like that. The park has done okay. This is all stuff that's been decent, but I think they've been from the sense of it that I get from reading the articles is that their debt wasn't really managed very well. They've been fighting that, just like zillions of people out there not fighting their debts very well. So it's, I don't know. Maybe there's hope for Funcom. I hope it does shake out. They're doing stuff a little bit different than other game companies are doing. They're still kind of in that traditional MMO space. So it would be good to see them be able to keep going.
Yeah, I think we've got a recording of their offices once this went through. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up here. Here it is. Yahoo! There, yeah, I think they were a little excited there.
Yeah, no, it needed a more. Are they Swedish or Danish? I can't remember.
Oh gosh, why can't I remember that? I can't remember that as well.
I was
my
going to
gosh.
say anyway. It needed a bit of a Nordic
Norway.
accent.
Norway.
Oh, there you go. Norwegian. There you go. So it needed that Nordic accent in the Yahoo. Maybe Yahoo is a universal.
Yeah, but let me just say, I'll play that. Yahoo! Yeah, that's their main office there. So, yeah. I'm really excited by this. I think that Funcom, while it's had some issues and it's made some decisions that I didn't necessarily agree with as far as their game development goes, I think that they do have some talent as a developer, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Conan Exiles. I don't like a survival game. Really, I don't like survival games mostly. I've played them and have not enjoyed my experiences. But this one, I don't know. There's just something that I think this one might click with me a little bit better. So I hope so too. Really cool. Congratulations, Funcom, and I look forward to seeing more from you. That's great. Okay, we've got another game to talk about as well, which I'm kind of excited and scared and worried and unsure about all at the same time, Bill. Mm-hmm. All at the same time. Now, if I told you that there was a game that was going to go with a single shard system where they had a mega server, where it was only one server and everybody played on that server, nowadays that's not really something that is, oh my gosh, that's so new and different. A few other games have done similar things, right? So it's not a big deal, is it?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but what if I told you that this space MMO could have ships that could be solo vessels or have hundreds of players manning them? Hundreds.
Interesting.
Well, this is a game coming to us here, and it's actually not showing what I want it to show on our screen here. I'll just play with that as we're talking here. There's a game called Dual Universe that has been announced now, and this is a large scale, and it calls itself a seamless true MMO because all of the players will be playing on a single shard, a single server, and that's something that's kind of interesting, right? Like that's not something different. They also say that they're going to have these ships that are going to be either solo ships or that will have hundreds of players. And really, I have to say that's the one that kind of gets me. I don't know what they're doing or if they know what they're doing because...
And this is what I'm trying to wrap my mind around. So you're the 276th member of a crew on a mega Star Destroyer something. What do you do? Are you like in charge of the latrines or... because, I mean, by the time you get to 276, you got to believe that navigation has already been taken care of. Engines have already been taken care of. Probably all the combat stations are being taken care of. Maybe not. Maybe there's one person in charge of every missile tube or something like that. I don't know. But I don't know. If it scales nicely and if you can be that 276th crew member and have a rewarding experience, that could be amazing. Because guild battles then become wild, I think. Imagine two of these huge ships duking it out with that many people coordinating. That's the thing. Other thing, too, is the coordination. if you've got hundreds of people managing a ship, you're going to have teams. You're going to have middle managers. You're going to have a single commander issuing orders and reports all the way down, knowing what to do with that specific order. Like it could be amazing or it could be chaos.
Right. Yeah, it's I have a feeling it's going to be different. I know I'm not really helping things there, but yeah,
way to go out on a limb.
It blows my mind because of course it's just announced, so it's making all these grandiose promises. Who knows what it will actually be? It also talks about emergent gameplay. Ideologies, powers, ideas, and gameplay will emerge as they have done throughout history. So it's a sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, voxel building. Hey, they, if you're going for developer buzzword bingo, here we go. Voxels, they're back.
Voxels, mega servers, in-game. Yeah.
Yeah, we would, if we were playing like a drinking game of developer buzzwords, we'd be hammered by now.
Yeah. And you know what? This isn't bad. Like, I don't want to throw this out there and have this be something that kind of torpedoes the game or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. It's new. I'm curious. We'll have to try it out.
They say...
When's it out?
Using voxel technology, players have the creative freedom to design and build anything they can imagine. Spaceships, buildings, cities, satellites. There is no limit. Okay. Interesting. Speaking of satellites, there's 6 scriptable ships and constructs. For advanced players, the ability to script any ship or construct through Lua to redefine how it is controlled from navigations to weapon systems. You can even script your own AI to assist you. Now they're getting to the point where I'm like, okay, now, like, why don't you just offer a kitchen sink with this as well? Because, like, do you not, like, this feels that, like, it's just, it's promising so much. So much. And not just that, it's an indie studio. This is not being developed by a huge company that has, near unlimited resources to throw behind it. This is a 25-employee indie developer out of, Paris.
Well, and to be fair... That's the trend. We've talked about this trend several times now, but not that that's bad. I don't have any problem with an indie developer making an MMO. I think ultimately it's a good thing, but nothing. I hope it's amazing. It sounds it's got intriguing bits to it already, and if they can make it, it would be fantastic. Just looking at their FAQ, looks like the game is going to be in a beta phase probably second half of 2017. So once you translate that into game development, or from game development calendar to real calendar, we'll probably see a beta phase sometime in 2018, official release in 2018. It might make it by Christmas 2018.
And the other thing, when you make a game that's this big, you are then hinging yourself on having to have a player base that's going to be able to support that, right? As an indie game, this isn't. This has a heavier burden of trying to find players than maybe something with a multi-million-dollar marketing campaign behind it would have. So I'm just, I like everything that it's saying, but as I read everything, I worry that they're just promising everything to try and get people interested in the game, and then
it's so
they'll
early.
pull a Star Citizen and never release.
It's so early. I wouldn't worry about that unless they get some kind of major traction and hype and everything like that. It's so early in their development. I mean, you could almost say, let's come back to this in a year and see where they are. And you wouldn't be at all remiss.
Are you ready to call upcoming Kickstarter?
I don't know. I almost feel like this is the kind of thing that would have been announced with a Kickstarter if they were going to do it.
Well,
And
yeah, I kind of find this sort of...
the fact that they've already got 25 people and they've already got a game going makes me think that they got funding somewhere.
yeah.
But
I'm calling
maybe that's
upcoming Kickstarter.
maybe that's an unfair assumption.
I'm calling upcoming Kickstarter. Let us know what you think. You've heard us talk about it here. Check out the website. We'll have a link in the show notes. Let us know what you think about this, if there's an upcoming Kickstarter or not, whether you agree with Bill or me. You can also just go to dualthegame.com. DUAL thegame.com. Any last words, Bill?
But are you killing me or something?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, in that case, vive la France.
And that's where you go for, huh?
No,
Unfortunately, I do not have a guillotine sound. I wish I had a guillotine sound.
Oh, geez, and you're the French one. You can't even say guillotine?
Ben, je peux te parler en français si tu veux vraiment. Guillotine. C'est meilleur.
Better.
Comme ça, yeah. A little bit.
Sous vide.
That's just, you watched a cooking show today or something, didn't you?
Either that or Epic Rap Battles of History, something like that.
You watched the Gordon Ramsay one, didn't you?
Yeah, that was pretty good. And Julia Child, the actress or the YouTube person that did Julia Child is hilarious.
Oh no, I have to watch. I haven't seen it. So
Anyway, it's very good.
all right, we do have a couple sponsors to talk about. First, Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com. /MMO Reporter, and you can sign up for their monthly, like a audiobook of the month service, where you get one audiobook credit for your monthly subscription, and you can keep that book forever. If you cancel your subscription after you've used up all your credits, of course, because the minute you cancel your subscription, you lose all your credits. If you use up all your credits, even though you cancel your subscription, you own all of those audiobooks, and you can listen to them forever and ever. So go check out audiblepodcast.com /MMO Reporter. Also, our friends over at Doghouse Systems. You can go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to add a 120 gig SSD to your purchase to what is already included in the computer. So you can enjoy the benefit of having a 120 gig gaming hard drive. So you can put all your Steam games on there. 120 gig wouldn't fit in my Steam drive, I don't think. What about you, Bill? Do you think it would fit? But it would fit all my MMOs.
I wouldn't fit all of my MMOs, sadly. It would put my most important ones on there.
There you go. All right, so go check out doghousesystems.com.
Saying you'll go deep is not the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I don't trust you.
So, just a quick follow-up, because this is how I do my research for the show. It's during our discussion and after the discussion's over. Dual Universe has actually been floating around the MMOscape since early 2014.
Oh, has it really?
In fact, they launched their Twitter account in January 2014. I came across a millennium.org article en français talking about Dual Universe from October 23rd, 2014. So, I mean, they've been developing for a long time. So the fact that they're still going strong, very positive.
That's a lot of years of no income to be going, so good for them. Mm-hmm. Good for them.
Anyway, speaking of games that have been in development for a couple of years, Camelot Unchained is on the horizon, and there's a fan video out that actually is doing a breakdown of all the classes in Camelot Unchained. Now, that might not sound like a big deal to you until you actually realize that there are 30 flippin' classes in this game. 30. There's 21 characters in Overwatch, and that seems like a lot. There's 30 classes in Camelot Unchained.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's actually a very nice video. It's Chris, when he brought it to my attention, he said, "This is a long video. Get ready to sit down and watch for a long time." It's only like 11 minutes. It's actually not bad when you consider they're touching on 30 different classes. Mm-hmm. I've said 30 different classes a lot of times. I'll stop now.
But how many different classes?
I can't remember. Okay. Anyway, there's the author or the YouTuber breaks it down really nicely. It's a fellow by the name of Bevy. It's got an interesting accent. I I was trying to place it and I couldn't. It reminded me of
Here, let's hear a little bit of it.
who's
here.
that dude on YouTube that draws that does the cartoon characters with the huge one character's got the giant nose and the other character's got the giant underbite.
No idea. It's either Scottish or Irish.
Anyway, it's a nice breakdown. I mean, I've been following these classes a bit, but this is actually it was a nice way to see it presented all in front of my face. Give a little bit of perspective. It sounds like it's basically pre-written descriptions that Bevy's put together or found or something like that. So, but it's it's just because it's very fluid and obviously moves through all the classes very quickly. So anyway, it kind of got us thinking like Camelot Unchained is out there. It's always been kind of in the shadow a little bit for Chris and I to Crowfall, but I don't know. We started looking at these classes and some of them seem kind of interesting. What do you think, Chris? What's standing out for you in Camelot Unchained for what you want to play?
For me, I'm pretty excited about the Enchanted Knight. I think that's definitely something that I'm going to look at as a definite possibility. The Enchanted Knight. Go ahead.
That's in the Arthurian branch.
Yeah. And so I believe that the Enchanted Knight is the one that can transform into like this gargoyle-y thingy. So that's very tanky. But I believe Mjolnir class in the Vikings, otherwise known as my Thane, yay! I get to play my Thane again. Sorry, I fanboyed out a little bit there for a second. But Mjolnir is going to be, I think, my favorite one here. I got it pulled up here. It's got a hammer, like Mjolnir, Thor's hammer.
You're gonna basically be Thor, aren't you?
That was my Thane.
He's gonna be blonde. He's gonna be blue-eyed. He's gonna
be scruffy and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, what about you, Bill?
I was actually looking at the Archer for the Vikings, which is Archer class with the shield, which really reminded me of my Scout in Dark Age of Camelot. So that intrigued me a lot. I was also really curious about the Red Cap, which is the Tuatha Danann. Tuatha Danann. Yeah. TDD is, I think, the short form.
Yeah.
That's kind of the rogue stealther type class, but its mechanic that makes it unique is that it's actually its survival and its power is based on the blood of its enemies. So basically, killing other characters makes it stronger.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was curious.
Cool.
It's an interesting mechanic that I don't know. Just see how it plays out. I'm very curious by that.
And I as I've mentioned before, I am. Concerned is the wrong word, but I am curious to see how they will deal with the how can I put it? The amazing amount of class variation that they're going to have, and how the bleep are they going to balance that?
It seems difficult, and I mean, what they've said all along is that they're really balancing it around team play, that they're not necessarily concerned about the Enchanted Knight being exactly as powerful as the Red Cap or whatever. But that is a lot to take on. Just balancing that. Now, they're going to be completely exclusive as a PvP game and everything like that, so it allows them to focus on just one type of balance, but yeah, that seems like a really heavy task. If they pull it off, that's fantastic, because that kind of choice can really make for some very interesting battles and very interesting formations. Mm-hmm. But it's a big task.
Yeah, and it's just it's hard to foresee all of the different combinations of those classes together and what that will mean for players and for balance. That's sort of my thing. Thing. Yeah. But I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. The other thing that we wanted to move on to here before we got to our quick mentions is about the interesting choices that some people make. Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
So basically, it's a little Guild Wars 2 customer service drama, which we've talked about many times before. Usually, it's customer service completely owning somebody who's been cheating in the game. But this one's a little bit different, isn't it?
It is, and I can honestly say that I was very surprised by the very first sentence in the Reddit post that this comes from, which was quite simply that this is not a throwaway, but I'm sure my account can't be traced back to my Guild Wars 2 account.
And the very first post from ArenaNet, who responded, of course, was that, yeah, we know who you are.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the quick story, just to break it down. Basically, this dude purchased cheating software, played with it for, he claims, roughly 6 months, but in particular talks about the escapades that he had during the Super Adventure Box release, where he ran the dungeon heavily for one night, pulled in about 5,200 gold, which is a huge amount. I've never been over 200 gold.
Yeah.
Or pardon me, I've never been over 300. I've been over 200 gold.
Yeah.
But 5,200 is insane. And he made that, sold it to a gold farmer. Basically nasty, cheaty, awful stuff. But the thrust of the post is basically ArenaNet, why didn't you ban me?
Yeah.
Which is a very good question. And the result of it was Chris Cleary, who is, I believe, their CSR big cheese at ArenaNet, came up and said, yep, we actually saw you. We flagged you. Your account should have been actioned in early April, but you slipped through the cracks due to human error. So
yeah,
now that's going to be fixed and enjoy your vacation.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't talk about what the ban was going to be. Is it a perma ban when they do stuff like this, or a temp ban?
Oh, I don't know. No, they didn't mention anything like that, and I don't know if it would be a perma ban or not. I mean, it's obviously fairly flagrant, but as opposed to fragrant, because
it doesn't
think it was
smell.
Fragrant. No, it kind of stinks a little bit. Anyway. But no, I mean it's a curious phenomenon there, because there's actually been a bunch of other posts coming up on Reddit recently about people who were wrongfully banned, including one fella who actually meticulously logged everything about his banning. And usually when I read these kind of stories, I'm very much siding on grain of salt type thing. Like, okay, people usually will try to scam their way through this, but this other post that we'll have a link to in the show notes. It's posted by a fellow on Reddit by the name of Yelena. Basically, this is a character that was almost exclusively a PvP player. They got dinged for using map hacks that allowed them to do world discovery in an unreasonably fast manner. The ban landed, the ban ended, and the person logged back in and found out that they actually didn't have any of their characters having discovered the points that the CSR claimed that they'd discovered. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like there's a bit of a manual step in the account action phase that's being missed or hit or hit too. I don't know. There seems to be a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done in that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, there's obviously something going on, but yeah.
Anyway,
so,
cheating drama. We'll be watching it closely.
I love the neener, you didn't catch me, haha. To now you're banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually.
Yeah. The best use of well, actually, I think I've seen in a while. Last thing here, let's get through our quick mentions. First of all, for those of you who play Skyforge, which was a game that I quite enjoyed. I thought the character progression was incredibly deep. And the game was not didn't quite click with me, but it was definitely not a bad game, and I could highly recommend it to people who are looking for a more grind heavy but game heavy, like Black Desert Online, which we'll talk about in a minute. is much more of a world. Skyforge is less of a world, more of a game, but still just as grindy. So, if you want to go check that out, you should. It's a pretty fun game. Now, there's a new update coming out June 1st called Cybernetic Alliance. They're going to be taking a look at a few of the different classes. For those of you who do play the game, here's a heads up. The Archer and Witch were the two biggest classes that will be getting boosts. The Archer being able to be put in a chance where you increase your crit. It's not necessarily they're just bumping up your crit stat, but they're just changing some of the skills so that you will crit more and better. Which is receiving a damage bonus, damage output increase, and of course, because they always have to nerf something, the gunner is being nerfed with some skill cooldown increases and some damage decrease. So that's the way things are going to be in Skyforge. If you want to play that, you never played Skyforge, did you?
No, I did.
Oh, you did? You didn't really love it. Same as me, right? It was good, but not.
It was hard to find my groove in it. Yeah. It wasn't that instant click. So, and like so many people have the problem, there's other games to play, and I played them.
Exactly. Moving on to our next quick mention here. Bill, I think that some people were maybe expecting something different out of the World of Warcraft or the Warcraft movie than what is actually coming out. What seems to be happening is that people who love Warcraft are loving this movie. People who don't love Warcraft, not just really into that movie very much at all. I think right now on Metacritic it's sitting at 37, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, and
bad.
this gets to exactly what it is. It's a popcorn flick that's fan service to World of Warcraft players. That's what this is. So if you're expecting high cinema or anything like that, of course you're going to be disappointed. That's I don't think it ever even pretended to be anything else.
No.
But I don't know. I want to watch it. I'm concerned. I am concerned that there's where there's smoke, there's fire, and that it will be a steaming pile of horridness. But I mean, from what I've seen, the reviews of the people who actually, like you said, the people who actually know Warcraft and have played it and are going to be experiencing it as the fan service experience that it's supposed to be, they seem to be enjoying it. The critics, the people who review movies professionally, they're not.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go see it fairly early on in its release, if not opening night soon after.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it. Now, we did have some members of the MMO gaming community, not MMO Reporter, but the MMO gaming community, went out and saw it. This is, of course, Terpster, who is a host, oftentimes host on the Instance podcast, as well as amongst many, many other things. Do you want to set this up at all, Bill? I'll explain it after for those who are listening. But let's just get into it. For those of you who watch on YouTube, this is quite interesting here. This is, of course, Terpster after watching a screening of the Warcraft movie. So, spoiler. If you're a Game of Thrones fan here, I will say a very slight spoiler. That was, of course, Hodor that he was asking to hold the door. Whoa, what the heck? That was supposed to stop.
I was going to actually suggest that maybe this should be a big fat spoiler bleep, but anyway,
Well, but
I laughed the first 5 times that I watched that. It was very funny.
Yes, it's quite funny. So you can go watch it yourself. And if you don't get the reference, good, because we didn't spoil anything for you.
Excellent.
For those of you who play Black Desert, which, as I said in my review, is the best game that I have no interest in ever playing again, there are some discussion about class awakenings. Class awakenings are basically, to simplify it, like specializations in Guild Wars 2. It's a one-time unlock that you get for your character with weapons and stuff that changes significantly the way in which you play your class. For example, the Giant, which is sort of the big weapon-wielding class, kind of a dual axe swinging wheel of death, right? That's the Giant. That's sort of what they do, kind of berserker type gameplay, right? Now, in the skill awakenings, when you do your awakening for that, I did get a video from the Korean version of the game that shows off, and this is armored up, and the dyes on this are done to make it look like Iron Man. But basically, you have a big cannon on your arm. You no longer hold weapons. You have a cannon, and you are a leapy, shooty thing from there on out, which significantly changes the way you play the game. The Archer, for example, with their awakening, becomes a dual blade weapon character. So it's quite significant. This is something that's been part of the game in Korea for a little bit, and according to the wonderful forums, that will not be happening in the North American version of the game for quite a while. There was a post by one of the community managers, CM Tides, who said that it's not in the foreseeable future. Won't be coming soon. Is the exact quote for that. So you can take a look at that. So that is all of the news that's fit to talk about for this week. Bill, if people want to contact us, how would they do so?
Well, they can visit us over at our website, MMOreporter.com. They can send us an email, mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can find us over at Facebook, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of the MMO reporters, either at MMO_reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, or at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call at 616-666-6778. Leave us a voicemail. Let us know what you think the Warcraft movie is going to be like. I'm really torn. I half want to see it and I half don't. Let us know what you think. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network for our streams, video coverage of events, and other fancy dancy stuff. You can find us over at Patreon, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. If you'd like to throw a few coins our way to help keep the lights on and everything like that, that would be fantastic. If Patreon's not your style, you can also visit us over at MMOReporter.com/support for other ways that you can help us out.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Hey, it's been fun recording with you this week, as always.
You bet.
And thanks to our wonderful people in the chat room who came and hung out with us. It's always pleasant to see some of you there. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the show this week, whether you listen to it audio, whether you watch it on YouTube, however you may consume the show. We really appreciate the fact that you take time out of your life to join us as we talk MMOs, and we hope that you come back next week, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOReporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOReporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.